So let me have a look at TRVL. I'm not going to go long into this because I've got to go. But basically, what are we experiencing here? Let me tell you. The weekly close is going to be quite important, right? And even though this may or may not look bearish, it's still not bearish. So don't think that this is bearish. Yeah, it may look bearish, but it's not bearish. And I'll explain why. First and foremost, we have increasing volume. We're not in the highs, we're in the lows. That's the context is very important. If this was in the highs, if we'd had an extended rally like this, like Bitcoin, we get this kind of candle and it's in the highs, you know, and we had high volume there, then I'd be thinking bearish. But we're in the lows, we're not in the highs. Look at the range. We're from the distance from where we are now to the all-time low is only 47% below us. It's only 40% below us. It's not much. We're in the lows. So I think positioning of the price with respect to the whole chart is very important when you're evaluating these candles. If this was on the extended run of like Bitcoin, when I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm looking at, oh my God, let me get rid of all of that. Like a candle, inverse candle like that, increasing volume into the highs of an extended run. Okay, that's bearish. That's definitely bearish, right? But I'm not seeing that with this, with TRVL. People did sell. That's a fact. A lot of people sold. And I don't blame them for selling. I don't blame anyone for selling. For most people, you know, with small positions, going up I mean, actually, a lot of people were in from lower because I've been telling everyone from back in, whenever, I've been telling everyone from the all-time low that TRVL is good. So from all the way down here, if you look at my Twitter and then on YouTube from beginning of December, when it was here, I've been telling people that TRVL is good. So sure, if you made a 2x on your investment, I don't blame you for selling, you know, it makes sense. And you're going to get this kind of price action and this kind of behavior at the lows, because for a lot of people going from 3 cents or from 2 cents to 9 cents is significant. The way the price moved now from 3 cents to 9 cents would be like going from $1 to $3. Yeah. And so going from $1 is here, that's $1. It'd be like from going from here all the way to here. You see? That's the same. And so obviously at the lows, you're going to get more volatile behavior. The higher we go, the less volatile it becomes, because the distance it has to move to achieve the same percentages in terms of X is going to have to be more. And so obviously, as the price moves smaller distances, people are going to be in multiple X's quicker. And so therefore, they're going to take their profit and sell. And obviously, we're it's much more illiquid at these lows because there's less trading, because a lot of people are hodling. They're not looking to exit. The timing is wrong as well for a lot of people. Like for me, I didn't sell. I could have sold. I could have even taken profit. I didn't take profit because I'm hodling. I'm hodling because for me, the timing is all wrong. I'm not about to take profit or exit at the beginning of the bull market. I've been waiting since November 21 or November 22 when it first launched. I'm not going to exit now. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to sell now. This is the time to buy. This is not the time to sell. So I accept that people are willing to take profit, and they may not even enter back into the project. And I think that would be a massive mistake. But in my mind, we're at the beginning. So I'm not going to sell now. And what needed to happen happened. And what needed to happen was an increase in volume, right? So we had an increase in volume. And this is gates. So actually what I want to do is quickly show you KuCoin, because KuCoin really tells a story, a real gives a better story. It gives a better picture. I said that we were in the consolidation range and an accumulation range. Yeah. So let me just draw it out for you, which is there. I said it was bullish, and I said that this candle wasn't bearish, and it wasn't, because these wicks above these candles are market buys. Yeah, so you had this high, people were like bearish with this candle, and I said it wasn't bearish, and it wasn't. Like, it wasn't bearish. Okay, it could have been bearish, and I said, if you're bearish, now is the time, because you have a bearish candle. You have a high volume bearish candle. The price has gone up, taken the liquidity, it's back in the range. Now is the opportunity to sell if that's what you want to do. But obviously it didn't happen. And we had this kind of explosion, this breakout, so to speak. Yeah. Well, this is still a breakout. You have increase in volume up, and we broke this range. You see, we've broken this range. This is a breakout. Now, not all breakouts kind of break out. You know, sometimes you have a breakout, but you still need to test the breakout. You need to test. And what people are saying is, like, they're looking at the volume and they're going, wow, look at all those people who sold. Look at this red candle, the volume in this red candle. That's 43.9 million in this red candle. And in today's candle so far, we're looking at 4.2 million. And then the green candle, we're looking at 21 million. So basically, when you look at is it the 3-day or the weekly chart? The weekly chart, 75.875 million. Oh my God. Look at that green candle. Look at that candle. That's a crazy increase in volume. That's off the charts. Is that the most volume we've had? Yeah, look, we've had the most volume ever in a week on KuCoin. Yeah. Before that, it was 72.779, and that was all the way back on the week of the 18th of April. And now we've had 75.875 million. That's more volume in this candle than there is in circulation, because, as I've said before, most of the coins are locked up in the community treasury and the marketing fund, the growth fund, whatever it is, which belongs to the DAO. There aren't that many coins. This is more than the coins in circulation has been traded in this last week. And we've exploded outside of this consolidation range. See that? And even though we have so many people who have sold, a lot of people sold, and I don't blame them for selling, you know. I didn't sell, but I don't blame people for selling. All of the people who sold, that price has been bought. You got to look at it the other way around. Just, if these people had sold and the price was here, right, that would be a completely different story. We'd be having a completely different conversation if we had 44 million of sales and the price was now underneath this range. Yeah, this is telling me that all of these people sold and we're above the range. We're still above the range. That means that all of those sells were bought. So even though this is a sell candle, it's telling us that the price has been bought above the range. This price is good. This volume is telling me that this price is the floor, is good, because someone is looking to buy so many of these tokens at these prices, and the price is holding. Now, obviously the week candle hasn't closed, so I can't predict how it's going to close by the end of the week. And obviously I don't want it to close back into the range, but who can predict the future? No one can. But at the moment, we have a decreasing volume. These green candles are higher, are increasing volume. The red candles decreasing volumes. You know, we had this. We have to see how this plays out. You know, at the moment we're holding support, and actually the level that I don't want us to lose, in my mind, the key level is this one. In my mind, this is the level that I don't want to lose on the weekly time frame. Is this one, this weekly level? Is that the one? No, I think that's the one. This one here. That's the one. We change it to yellow. Let me zoom in. You see how on the lower time frame price action, you see how many times this level was resistance. You see that? Resistance, resistance. It didn't, the price couldn't get above it there. Here the price couldn't get above it. Resistance, 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 resistance. I don't really want us. I think as long as the price holds this level, I think we're good. Because for me, that would be an SR flip. Yeah, that's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking at now. An SR flip, a support resistance flip, and it's not unhealthy. Like, I think people are looking at other coins and they're going, why hasn't the pump continued? This is bearish. This is not bearish. This is actually bullish. It's bullish if we're coming back to retest levels that we've broken, to confirm broken levels as support. If and when the price comes back here and confirms this as a flip, that's ultra bullish. That's so bullish. It's unbelievably bullish, because that's what you want. You want to see increasing volume, and you want to see previous price levels back tested as resistance to support flips. If that's what we're experiencing, that's great. That's good news. That's what you want to see. Okay, that's the first step in changing the path. And the increase in volume, I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, if you're watching my videos, I thank you. I thank you, sir, because you did us a great favor. Whoever brought this up is a saint, and you will be well rewarded, because you're on a winner. You're onto a winner. This Dtravel, this TRVL is a winner, and you're going to be well rewarded, because I'm expecting much higher than people imagine. Obviously, we won't know until it does happen, but you know, you'll be well rewarded. Anyway, this is increasing volume. The price has been sold more volume and the price is still higher. So in my mind, this is bullish. This isn't bearish. And I think on the weekly time frame, I'm not going to preempt the future, because I don't know. I would like the price. I think obviously with these candles, it's very hard to know exactly which level is correct. But I don't know. I think it would be nice for the price to close above the previous week high. I think that would be nice. Let's see. This increasing volume is off the charts. Thank you. And we're still above the point of control. That's bullish. And as long as we're above the point of control, that's bullish. And what I expect, and this is what people don't realize, this wick that's gone up all the way into the 9 cent mark, into the value area high, that's the first test of 9 cents that we've had since. We haven't really tested 9 cents apart from this back test here in March, on the week of the 13th of March. That was the first back test. We tested it as support on the 27th of Feb, but it didn't hold. And then we back tested it as resistance. This is the second resistance back test we've had of this 9 cents mark. This 9 cents level is key because it's the launch price of the token. And so in my mind, anything that is acquired underneath the launch price is discount because the price launched at 9 cents. Yeah. And in the future, once the price gets above 9 cents, I don't expect it to ever come back down under the 9 cents. That would be very strange for the price in the future to come back down below the launch price. That would be very strange. Okay. There'd be something very wrong if that was to happen. So I am expecting in the future for 9 cents to hold and flip as an SR flip. And this is the first test. And we've gone all the way up to 9 cents. And what we've actually done is we've cleared all of the liquidity up to 9 cents. All of this liquidity has been cleared now. So someone has purchased the price and cleared all the liquidity for us. And that's great because it means the next time we go up, I don't know when it's going to happen, there's going to be significantly less resistance. Significantly less resistance. A lot less people are going to sell because all of those people who sold all the way up to 9 cents. And so the next time it goes up, there's going to be significantly less resistance, less liquidity because it's been taken. And to fill a big order like that, someone had to clear it all the way up to 9 cents. Yeah. And they've got it. One person, two people, I don't know how many people it was, have collected a massive bag, huge bags, and they're still in the lows. And their average is probably somewhere about 5 cents or whatever. It doesn't really matter because ultimately we're going way above. This is not the high. This is the lows, and we're going much higher. This is amazing. This is a massive sign of strength in my mind because look at the volume. And this is what I wanted. I wanted increasing volume. And this is the first sign of increasing volume. And we have been having increasing volume. But this is like the first injection of great volume, and we're going to have more. I think this is the sign of things to come. What people don't understand is that this is the beginning, and no one really knows or has discovered Dtravel or TRVL. And I think a key moment is going to be the release of the search engine. Once the search engine is launched, any person in the world will be able to go and book accommodation on Dtravel. And everyone in crypto, when they look at Dtravel, will be able to go and have a look at that search engine and see all the different properties. It's going to be very attractive for people to see that, and then they're going to understand. And so that's happening very soon. That's going to happen probably in the next 5 to 6 weeks. There's going to be a crazy big launch with a lot of marketing. And so there's no way I'm going to sell before that happens. That's ridiculous. Why would I do that? That's mental. In fact, I'm buying. I'm waiting for this week to close, and then I'm going to buy. As soon as this week candle closes, I'm going to go onto whatever exchange, probably Bybit, because that's what I use. I'm going to market buy. That's what I'm going to do. And because it's a red candle, it's a red weekly candle. I buy red weekly candles. That's what I do. I regularly, without, oh, sorry, not weekly, daily candles. Sorry. I buy red daily candles. Yeah. I always buy the red candles. That's the best entry you'll ever get in a bull market. When you get red daily candles, you can just keep on scaling in and you'll always catch the lows. If you look at all of these red candles from the all-time low, if you bought the red candles, you know, you're always buying the bottom and you end up with the best average, you know. On average, you always end up with the best average because you're buying the red candles. And also you're not buying the pump. So if you think about all of these red candles, if you're averaging in, yeah, you buy the red candles. And if you want to be more risk adverse, obviously you could wait for the red weekly candles, but sometimes with the red weekly candles, you have to be waiting a long time. And because we're in the lows, I think it's just good to buy more often. Like you could have bought these from the all-time low. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd have 5 entries. Your average will probably be somewhere around here if you were buying just the red weekly candles, you know. So it depends how you play it. But I think for the duration of the bull run, I think it's a good strategy to just buy red candles. So when the candle closes on a higher time frame, like the daily, maybe the 3-day, depending on how your strategy is for entering, or the weekly, whatever you like. But I think it's good to just buy red candles. But also, if you don't want to just, if you want better entries, then I would suggest set limit orders underneath the wicks. See all these wicks? The problem with putting orders underneath wicks is you might not fill. But like even yesterday, we had this red candle here. Where do you want to enter? Well, underneath the wick. That's where you should enter. That's the best entry. And actually that would be the best entry because you would be above this weekly level. So if you want to place limit orders, that's where you place your limit orders, under the wicks. And if you want to put in reverse, if you want to put limit orders in reverse, then the best place to put them is in the same spirit of the idea. It would be above the wicks, you know. So I'm not just telling you to buy. I mean, if you want to sell, then that would be the best place to sell, above the wicks. So yeah, so I don't really want to go much more into Dtravel and TRVL because I think it's still looking good as long as we hold this weekly level. Let me give you the price so you understand what level I'm looking at. It's on KuCoin, it's 3384. So I think that would be fine. And if we could hold above the previous week high, that's 3499. I think that would be better. But I don't think it would be terrible to close above the weekly level. I just think whatever happens, we have to test. Like we may, and I want people to be prepared for this, we may have to go and test this level on a weekly time frame. Yeah. So I don't know what that means to the price. I obviously, I can't predict the future, but sometimes maybe, you know, like in the same way we had this little consolidation range here, maybe we need a little consolidation here before we go up. But usually what I think when I see these candles with these wicks, the wicks fill, especially when you're on support, you know. I think there's a lot of interest in this token right now, and when the market was going down, TRVL was up 100%. It was all over Twitter. KuCoin was pumped. It was on the pump news, whatever. A lot of people found interest in this token, and now a lot of people are doing their research and they're going, wow, this is a hidden gem. It's got a low market cap. This could do really well. And they're right. This is going to do really well for reasons that they may not know. And one of those reasons are the tokenomics. So if you don't know, the tokenomics are changing, and the team are going to propose a new tokenomics document probably tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow, but probably tomorrow or Tuesday, or basically this week. And they're going to propose some ideas for the community, for the DAO to discuss. And it's a discussion. It's a public discussion. It's a village town square. Everyone has the right and the permission to give their opinion and to comment and to join in with this discussion. And that's the power of DAOs. And that's the power of what Dtravel is going to become. It's going to become a community initiative. And so everyone who's involved, everyone who's a token holder has the right to participate, and everyone's views are going to be taken into heard and listened to. And the team are going to bash out their ideas, and then we'll have the opportunity to comment. And whether it's critique or whether it's to praise, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're engaging. And I think, like, I've been thinking about tokenomics a lot. I've been pushing for the change in tokenomics for a while now, and it's happening. So for me, I have an idea of what I want, but, you know, we all have ideas and we have to bash them out. We have to discuss them. For me, the most important thing about the tokenomics is three things. First and foremost, it has to be very easy to understand. Very easy. I think if you want people to invest their money, they have to understand the tokenomics. They have to understand it without difficult explanations. I think that's a priority, actually. I think if people find it difficult to understand, or if I find it difficult to explain, then people will find it difficult to understand. If people find it difficult to understand, there's no way that they're going to invest. And I think that's literally priority number one. It has to be easy to understand. If it's easy to understand, it's going to be easy to market. If it's easy to market, then the marketing is going to be a job well done. So I think priority number one for me is that the tokenomics are very easy to understand. If I look at the tokenomics and I don't understand it in the first instance, then I think that that's a failure. And I would write it out immediately. I think sometimes we can make things too complicated. And I think when it comes to crypto, when it comes to tokenomics, when it comes to ideas, we have to keep them very simple, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to attract the masses. And on the most part, people prefer it simple. They prefer simple explanations. They don't want complicated. So I think the tokenomics has to be simple, has to be easy to understand. Number one. I think number two, the tokenomics must be store of value. I think that is the backbone of a successful Web3 crypto project. Store of value. I think every project has their kind of fancy utility, whatever, but ultimately in a world where inflation is going up, the number one thing that's on people's minds is how to retain their wealth, how to retain their value. And when prices are going up and where countries have triple-digit, double-digit inflation, the number one thing that's on people's mind is how to preserve their value, how to preserve their wealth. And there is no way that someone is going to come and sell other assets, cars, properties, tokens, Bitcoin, whatever, into and invest it into our token if they don't also believe that the token has store of value. It's really important. So we have to, the tokenomics must demonstrate in a very easy way for people to understand store of value. Very important. Yeah. Everything else can be put on top of that idea, but store of value must come first. I think when you have the store of value idea, it's a very easy narrative for people to understand, because Bitcoin had, you know, Bitcoin, when it first launched, it wasn't store of value, it was digital transactions. And then they realized that it sucks. Bitcoin sucks for digital transactions. It's too slow, it's too costly. So they had to change their story. They had to change the narrative. And actually, they did a good job because they changed it to store of value. And we can do the same thing. Why not? You know, before Facebook, there was MySpace. It isn't just because it exists doesn't mean you can't come and do something better. Okay, especially when Bitcoin is going through the roof and it's really expensive, and people are looking for a way to store their value. They may go, well, why would I buy 1 Bitcoin when I can buy 1,000 TRVL and still achieve the same thing, which is store of value? Okay, so I think that's number 2 for me, is store of value. And I think number 3 for me, the most important thing, is going to be the way the staking is done and how to grow your value. But I think that's going to be the last on the list, because I think that's going to be intertwined to store of value. I have a few ideas about how they can achieve that, but I think on the most part what they're suggesting will work, but I think it can only work with the store of value idea. If that has to get, we have to get that right first. And the great thing about staking to increase value is that that will lock up tokens. So when you stake tokens, you lock it up, so you take it out of circulation. And also when you stake tokens, when you're increasing that demand for staking tokens to increase value, people are then going to buy the tokens, which is going to increase demand for the tokens. And that's primarily where the value, the demand is going to come. In the demand is going to come because people are then going to buy tokens to stake tokens. Now, how do you reward the stakers? Well, that is a conversation that we're going to have. And that's what the tokenomics document is going to suggest. And that's what we're going to discover this week, on how, where the value is going to come to reward the stakers. That's a whole different discussion. And I think that's going to be a very interesting discussion, because there's lots of ideas of how to achieve that. But primarily it has to come on the back of store of value, and it has to be simple to understand. If you get those first 2 things right, then the third thing will fit in very nicely. And that's it. And when you want to innovate something, you don't need to go crazy. You just need to innovate 1 or 2 things, you know. When I think about innovation, I think about Apple computers. They invented their own operating system, but it failed. And so when they reinvented themselves, they basically took Linux and they they called it Apple, you know. But the operating system of Apple is a Linux-based operating system. They took something that already worked, was secure, free, successful, and they made it their own. And there's many examples of that in history where the innovation wasn't taking an idea and making it complicated. It was just basically rebranding it or remarketing it. And I think we have to make sure that we don't make the tokenomics too complicated so people can understand. All right. I think that's it for today. I hope that was interesting. And yeah, let's see what happens here. This is KuCoin. So we're in the, you know, we're in the value area. This is a new range that we're forming now. We are in the lows. So let's see if this point of control actually comes. We get a little bit more volume at these lows, and this point of control moves down to here. That's the first indication of a bullish reversal that I'm looking for. Let me have a look on Gate, because I've been charting on Gate a lot recently to see what that looks like. Oh, you see, look, Gate, the value area, the point of control is much higher. See? Gate. But because most of the volume was on KuCoin, you see we have look at this. We have decreasing volume. Apart from this red candle, we have decreasing volume. So that's kind of what you want to see. On the way down, you want decreasing volume. That's not a bad sign. You want decreasing volume when the price comes down. Let me see on KuCoin what the volume is like. I mean, it looks like obviously there was increasing volume here, but then on the most part, it is decreasing volume. So let's see what happens. I think this is fine. It doesn't look terrible. Not yet, but we'll see. Let me have a look at Bybit. So it looks like the point of control on Bybit and Gate are roughly in the same area. It looks like that big buy was on KuCoin. That's what it looks like to me. And I think we're in the range. The range is here. We're at the bottom of the range at the moment. So let's see how that plays out. Let me have a look at MEX as well and see what that's looking like. Get rid of these. So look, so on MEX, the point of control is much lower. On the other two exchanges, it's a bit higher though. So I think we might end up with maybe something similar, you know, maybe, let's see, maybe another tight range. I don't know. But look how tight that was. It got really tight and then it exploded. And I think once we kind of confirm support, and I think that's what people want to see. I think people want to see that this structure is now supporting the price. And then we're going to start moving up, you know. I think that's when people are going to get the confidence to buy more. And we have increasing volume. Look at this on MEX. The red candle had more volume than the green candle, yet the price is still higher than when it first began. So, I mean, I honestly think it's crazy how people sold. But now let's see if those people reaccumulate, because surely now they can accumulate more than they sold. Because actually this is looking really bullish. This isn't looking bearish at all. We're just coming back in to test a support range. And it looks like it wants to hold. It looks like, doesn't look terrible to me. Look, we're getting some kind of accumulation again. It looks like reaccumulation. That's what I always say. Reaccumulation now. All right. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Turn this off.